This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1121. It's a lot of podcasts. And it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What's goody?
And from Los Angeles, from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
Woohoo!
Emily is not joining us this week. She will come on for Relevant Buzz in the next segment, but she's got a little bit of a migraine. So when we were talking, I was like, "You sure you're down for all the chaos of the podcast?" And she's like, "If I could sit out, I think that would be good." So
she doesn't like 4 people yelling at her.
That's basically what it came down to.
We're all like,
Right.
Yeah, this actually is known as quite a well-known trigger for migraines and a lot of neurological conditions.
A lot of loud noises.
Migraines, yeah.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to one of my faith heroes, Christine Caine. We bring her on the show a couple times a year, it seems like. And we have a fascinating conversation that is very timely for the end of 2023. You don't want to miss that. Well, it's full on Christmas week now. Last after Thanksgiving, I almost played Christmas music here on the show. And every year we release our Christmas playlist, Very Relevant Christmas, all that stuff. I was going to promote it on Tuesday's show, but I got pushed back because it was still the month of November. So some people are diehards. It's got to say December on the calendar. Well, it's officially December 1st when the show's coming out. So Merry Christmas season, everybody. And also,
I wish the retail stores felt like that. Bro,
yeah, for real.
October 31st, November 1st, it's on.
Yeah.
Christmas music and everything.
Have you guys? I acquired a tree since we last spoke.
Nice.
And I was informed that tree prices have gone up once again, all-time high. And
it's terrible.
And I get an economy lesson. I said this on the last show about the nuances of the Christmas tree market. And I was told years ago that the today's prices are dictated by the conditions of when the trees were actually planted, which is 20 years ago. So we're still navigating the housing crisis here. But I'm beginning to think they're just going to keep going up every year. Like there's no comment every, because I asked the guy, I was like, man, these prices seem really high this year.
Like, how much did you pay?
Or how much?
Yeah. Is that
give us some context, Jesse?
They used to say it's $10 a foot. Now it's a good at least 20. And
so if you're buying a 9-footer, $60-$70 then, right?
Oh, it's
well,
double.
If you're buying a 9-footer, you're creeping in on 200 pounds for a tree.
Whoa.
You got to go to a different lot, dude. Home Depot here has the Christmas tree lots, and they're like, you could get a 8-footer for like $100.
Yeah, but I'm not buying parking lot trees. Okay, these are tree farmed. Well, let me say this:
he's going to non-GMO, locally sourced trees. He wants the locally sourced.
My Douglas fir that I got from the Home Depot parking lot is just fine.
It is one indulgence that my wife will not tolerate: an ugly tree.
It's a free range tree.
It won't be tolerated.
I have a lovely tree. It is alive and well.
He said your tree busted, bro. He said it's he said, I see your tree, Cameron.
I'm one of those street trees.
Busted tree, he said.
I'm one of those back alley trees.
I see your tree, bro.
Hey, Cameron, you can keep your sweatshop tree, okay? I'm going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But look.
Those are imported from China, and they work on it.
Relax.
Yeah.
It's like an iPhone. You don't want that tree. You want the one that's locally sourced.
I don't want your wish tree. I'm going the real deal.
My tree looks lovely. What are you talking about? But the prices were higher than normal. Normally, I'd pay $50 back in the day, and then it was $60, and this year it was $80 for us.
But the guy says, I was like, man, they're really high. He's like, well, it's the great Christmas tree crisis, right now, and as if this is a thing that we're all talking about.
He didn't call it the Great Christmas Tree Crisis, bro.
He did, as if it's this national emergency.
He said the Great It's not even like it got great; it became great, and so it started to. The history books will refer to this as a Great Christmas Tree.
This man did not call that mug the Great Christmas Tree.
That's how he justified his price gouging
on a relevant podcast, bro.
Yeah, I can hear him in like his old timer voice, like his old he's like, it's a great Christmas tree, and you're like, oh, tell me more, sir. Tell me more.
I am not kidding. He said it as if this is just a part of the national discourse right now, as if if it's all been leading to this. Like it's like the AI apocalypse or something. Like the day has come. The Great Christmas Tree Crisis is here.
Treemageddon.
Yeah. He said it with such confidence and so casually that it was like,
that's he's justifying his price gouging, man. You got played.
I've been going to these people for like 8 years, 8 Christmases.
So Cameron, you're saying that the tree, he's inflating the price to make it seem like it's something more special than your Douglas fir from Lowe's.
Yeah. I'm saying why are these double the price? Well, we got a crisis going on.
But there's no way
there's not a crisis.
Hey, Cameron, how big's your tree? How feet?
I have, my mid-century house. I have 8-foot ceilings, so I can't go beyond a 7 to 8 foot tree. So that's what I have. I know you have very high ceilings.
I do.
So you need scale. I get it.
But I'm still, something's not adding up here. You said you paid $80.
I paid $80 for a 7.5 foot Douglas fir.
Yes. That's a stolen. That's a hot tree. That
was
stolen. That's a black market.
Jesse,
I bought it at I go to the Home Depot tree farm every year. I'm saying I used to pay $50 for this tree.
I got a theory. I think this guy is going to Home Depot and marking up the trees from Home Depot.
Derek, how dare you? This ain't no Depot tree.
I think he's
tree from Old Prospector
and marking them up.
No.
You went to the hipster place to get trees. That's why.
He's like those people like you can make money on Amazon. You just go to like Marshalls and you like buy the stuff at Marshalls and then list it for more. That's what he's doing with Christmas trees.
I was like, yo, man, why is this one why is this same tree $250? He goes, well, you see here, and it has a little ribbon at the top, and he said this one has been trimmed every 10 years. This one's only been trimmed. They only really trim it or twice a year. Every I was getting a whole. Like I said, these are premium trees. I don't need your.
Yeah, these are premium. This is like when you go to the supermarket and get eggs, and you open up the eggs, and it's like, "Hi, this is from the chicken. Her name is Bethany," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Like it's giving you information you shouldn't have to have.
I think I might be with Cameron on this one, bro.
Yeah. No. It's gonna be dead in a month anyway, buddy.
I think I might be with Cameron.
Your floor is gonna be covered in pine needles. You're gonna have little, termites.
There's a rat in there. There's a rat in your tree.
Yeah, you got a rat tree. Dude.
There's a tarantula. Be careful.
I got a rat tree.
You bought yours from an Old Prospector. Gus Chickens.
I did. He had a big white beard. He had a big white.
The toothpick just made an appearance. If you're following us right now, the toothpick.
Again. I need to.
All right. Well, moving the show along. Stay tuned. Up next, Emily joins us for Relevant Buzz. You're listening to Bob Jr. and Interwave. The song is All in Vain. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by Factor. It's a busy time of year, and you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling your holiday to-dos. Choose from more than 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences, all delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. If you're looking for special occasion meals during the holidays, you can level up with Gourmet Plus options, including premium ingredients, prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Or if you need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best during the holidays, try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. This November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Head to factormeals.com/relevant50 and use code relevant50 to get 50% off. That's code relevant50 at factormeals.com/relevant50 to get 50% off. Okay, it's time for Relevant Buzz. Please welcome to the show our managing editor, Downtown Emily Brown, to tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week. Hey, Emily.
Hey, y'all.
How's the migraine? I told them.
I mean, it's migraining. You know, it's there.
That's a wild question to ask.
The migraine is migraine.
That is a wild question to ask, my boy.
This is her flu game. This is her Jordan flu game. She's pushing through to bring us relevant buzz.
How's the migraine? You know, scale of 1 to 10. You know, is it?
I did. So the other day it happened. It started yesterday. It was really bad. I called my mom because I was like, I can't look at the screen for too long. Can you tell me what I'm supposed to do to like get rid of a migraine naturally? And so she told there was like, you know, all these like home remedies and stuff. One of them is caffeine. So I have consumed large amounts of coffee and it's weirdly helped.
That's awesome.
But I woke up in the middle of the night because I didn't have any coffee. And so I was like, okay, how do I get back to sleep? So I took some melatonin. But
I don't have experience with migraines, but I bought some Excedrin for somebody who had a migraine recently, and I realized the only difference with Excedrin versus like ibuprofen or whatever is that it's ibuprofen plus caffeine.
Yeah.
So the caffeine thing makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
we appreciate you joining us despite the ailment.
You know, we're going to see how this segment goes. So
I get it.
Yeah, I've been there.
So what's happening this week, Emily?
Yeah, the first thing I want to jump into is obviously a study with a bunch of data. No, I'm kidding. I do want to talk about a report, though. That was really interesting. So, you know, we've been following, obviously, the rise of the nuns over the last few years, not the devout religiously affiliated, the religiously unaffiliated.
NONES.
Yes.
They have no religious affiliation.
Yes. And there's a new report that came out from Ryan Burge, who's a political scientist. He focuses a lot on religious demographics. And he found that 16% of the overall U.S. adult population identifies as nuns. That's not super surprising. What is interesting is when you break it down by generation, 40% of Gen Z now identify as nuns.
Wow. 40%.
Which is a huge
almost
increase.
Triple the national.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 2 years ago, Pew released a study that found that 31% of adults under 30 were unaffiliated with religion. But Burge estimates that number has jumped a lot. And one of the biggest reasons why is just because of the way that younger nuns classify themselves. Many are not aligning themselves with labels like atheists or agnostics like older generations might have. They're just choosing sort of nothing in particular when asked about religion. They're just saying they're not really leaning anyway, just saying I have no interest and just kind of have like an ambivalence towards religion.
But didn't we also hear in the studies, I'm curious if this one confirms this, but while they were claiming no religious affiliation, they like had more spiritual curiosity or hunger. Does this study talk about that at all?
This one doesn't go into that, but we have had that study before where there is still an interest in that. And I mean, on the flip side, you know, 40% identify as nuns. That means 60% does have some sort of religious affiliation. So it is still technically a majority, but it just the 40% of one generation saying that they're not interested is a massive jump. Yeah.
How that's just America, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is the U.S.
Probably be higher in Europe.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's a global trend, or you know, not that it matters, but you know, there's just a matter of like curiosity. If like this is something that is distinctly happening within, you know, kind of the generation in America, or if globally, you know, that you know, younger people are becoming less religious, you know.
But no, this one specifically looks at U.S. adults.
U.S. Yeah. I mean, the church is growing globally. I mean, Asia and Latin America and Africa. All right. What else do you have?
Another very interesting survey. that I'm excited. I'm interested to get your thoughts on. This one is from Empower, which is a financial service company. They asked Americans, can money buy happiness? No surprise. A majority of Americans said yes. What is surprising is how much they think they need for happiness. On average, Americans say they need a salary of $284,000 a year to be happy.
I thought the studies came back a few years ago that like above 75,000 is like where like up to 75,000 money does buy peace of mind, happiness, whatever. But beyond 75,000, it actually doesn't. But America. Well, so people are saying they need 280,000.
This is what they say they need. This is not people who actually have that understanding. This is the average American who does not make $284,000 a year says that they think if they made that much money, it would solve just a lot of their problems, which includes rising costs.
When you explain it like that, Emily, it makes so much sense. When it's like the people who never had it are like, we need this specific amount because you know what? Those, I think in their mind, they're like, I also have to factor in my vacations, my designer. Like it's a factor of competing with everyone around them. It's not even for them to be taken care of, like to eat food and to have a nice house. It's literally, I think a lot of these like ideas, because I just saw a whole thing on YouTube about this, and he was talking to girls about it. It's like, how much do you want your man to make, or how much do you want? And the girls are like, if he's not making $250, I'm not messing with them. I'm like, your dad doesn't make $250. You know what I'm saying? Like this idea of 250,000 has been out there for a couple like months. It's like 250,000 has to start there. I think it's outrageous.
Yeah.
I saw one girl say 1,000 a day. And he's like, why does he have to have 1,000 a day? She goes, I got needs.
Okay.
Apparently. Apparently so.
You know, it is interesting too, because when you look at generationally, the average number changes as well. Gen Z went lower, saying they only need 128K. Sure. Millennials were the highest of any generation. They said they needed 525,000 a year to be comfortable.
Thanks.
Wow.
Thanks.
What?
I'm one of them.
Half a
the
million.
Generation of
I wanted
millennials.
Rub me half. They don't rub me the 75.
I mean, I definitely think I'd be comfortable.
Half, man. Give me the half, bro. I'm one of them millennials.
Now, are these real quick? Are these millennials like trying to get into the NBA? Like, is this like player minimums?
Like, I'm one of them.
These the same millennials that work at Starbucks and In-N-Out when I go there. The ones that mess up my order. Is that the same ones with the bangs? Is that the one with the bangs on? That
is the exact ones. That's the only ones they asked.
See, here's the thing. I just hung out with a couple of very hipster, like millennials. Like I'm talking the most. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to make desserts. Everything is off. I feel like my generation is too hip. We've gone further than we should have in the hipster world. I had goat cheese on top of my icing of my carrot cakes. Like they're trying to always be like cool in everything they do. It's just too much now. It's just too much. Dang it.
It's a lot.
Where's the common party, the common sense party when you need them right now?
I know this is coming from a guy who just ranted about buying poor quality Christmas trees and what a travesty it is.
Wait, sorry, you spent $200 on a Christmas tree?
You missed the opening segment. He had spent. He bought a non-GMO, like a free range tree, and the tree was very expensive.
It's like I said, in my house.
He's such a tree snob. He was like poo-pooing my Home Depot parking lot tree.
Yeah.
Oh, I spent a crisp $39 on mine, and it looks like a $39 Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but it gets the job done.
Listen, if I know people who go and will do like the Griswold thing and chop it down.
I love that.
You know?
Amazing.
That's not an option in Florida unless you want a pine tree.
Well, here's the thing. Next year, if prices stay up like this, because like I said, it's not me. It is one thing that my wife will, if she only wants to have a really nice Christmas tree. Like she's from New York, where Christmas trees are very abundant, and it's very important for her to have a nice Christmas tree. Next year, if the prices keep going this way, I'm just going to go rogue with an axe somewhere. I'm just going to drive out to a forest that I don't own and I'm coming back
you
with a
said
tree.
Rogue with an axe, bro.
Yep, dude. Be careful what land you're
bro.
on.
You can get in some trouble, my boy.
It'll be in the night, and I will be camouflaged. I will actually look like a Christmas tree.
That actually feels more dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to save a few bucks next year.
All right. What else do you have, Emily?
Last thing, speaking of Christmas, it's officially Christmas movie season, something I know each of you guys are so thrilled about. Okay, maybe this will get you actually interested, though. Cable TV is on the hunt for their annual Chief of Cheer employee. This person will need to watch 25 Christmas movies in 25 days in order to earn a whopping $2,500 for their service. Little more
doing that already.
now?
What the heck is going on?
There we
I've been
go.
doing
There
that
we
for
go.
Fighting that first, but I'm signing me up right now.
Now that you're getting paid for it,
I just saw
that's the only
Christmas
way you'll
Story
watch
last
it.
night.
But, man,
You watched that already?
I watched it already. You know, I put my Christmas tree up in September.
oh no, that's crazy.
No.
You did that.
I'm dead serious. So I saw my parents, and my parents were like, "This is the last time you're going to see us in the year. So let's just throw the Christmas tree up." So we put it up in September.
What?
There's no shame.
You should hide it. You should.
There's
hide
no
it.
shame in celebrating Christmas in September. Of all people, I would have thought you would have had
No,
an
this is
umbrage
free
with
country. This is free country, man.
I mean, this dude spent
you
$200 on a Christmas tree. We got to keep going back to this. Like, there's no
It's
stakes.
staying up.
There's no stakes too high.
It's staying up. It's
All
staying
year.
up. I'm getting my money's worth. It's staying up
It's
till
the holiday tree now.
March.
Yeah, March
4th
at
of
least.
July,
Yeah.
put an American flag on it.
No, if it stays on,
Valentine's Day is the only reason we're kicking
that's
it
a fire
down.
hazard.
Yeah. Well, but what, Cameron? What was that look for Marty for watching a Christmas movie last night? I watched a Christmas movie last night.
I saw Four Christmases the day before that. I've been going
love Four
in.
Christmases.
Yeah, I've been going in.
No,
That
watching
church
Christmas
scene
movies right now is great. I'm just for
holds
some
up.
reason I have my personal tradition with the Christmas Story is only watching it when TBS and TNT do the overnight thing on Christmas Eve where they play it for 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
So like while I'm wrapping presents, I watch that every year. For some reason, it doesn't click that you can watch it prior to Christmas Eve. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that
we
makes
watched
sense.
other,
I mean,
we watched
that's
Elf. We watched Elf this weekend when we were doing
Elf.
our Christmas decorating.
Yeah,
I watched the holiday.
I love, you know what I love? I love us people that are like they try to. My favorite Christmas. I feel like this has been a topic of discussion between Cameron and Jesse, but my favorite people are the ones who are like, my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. I'm like,
Right.
Why is that why is that a thing now? Why is that so big in the Reform community? Why do they? It's always a Reform guy bringing that up. It's never
They want to be. They want
Pentecostal
to be
dude.
tough, bro. Like this is the tough.
They like to.
And
yeah.
they're whiskey.
Right.
Yeah. One, they like to antagonize. Two,
They
they
love to
fetishize
antagonize.
masculinity, and
That
so
is
obviously,
big and reformed anity.
yeah, exactly. It checks a lot of boxes. One, it's antagonistic. Two, it's a take they can have that will is like contrarian. And two, it's hyper masculine, which I feel like
Hyper masculine. Yes.
Well, here's the best way to shut that down, because when Die Hard was released, it was a summer blockbuster. It wasn't released at Christmas time. It was a summer movie. They don't release Christmas movies in the summer.
This is true.
So you can come at them, with
but rationale
real
is not going
knowledge.
to matter with somebody that's trying to attack. I'm not saying all Reform people are this way, but I'm saying rationale with somebody that's trying to antagonize you is just not going to
It's
work.
a segment. I shouldn't paint with too broad of a brush.
Why was it released in the summer?
It was a blockbuster.
It was a blockbuster,
But
it was a huge summer
set during
blockbuster.
Christmas time, then I feel like it should be.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. Is this new movement to reclassify it as a Christmas movie when Christmas is a very small part of the plot. It could have been any corporate party.
It could have been. Yeah.
It was. And again, they didn't even think through the Christmas thing too much in the movie. The corporate party's on Christmas Eve. What company is having a Christmas party on Christmas Eve night?
True.
When are they
supposed
it was
to
literally
have it?
just a stand-in.
December 9th.
This Santa Claus, remember, he's leaving Christmas Eve party.
Yeah. Yeah, but that movie's about that movie's about Christmas. Like you could take it and put any corporate policy where Argyle's driving into the basement and hanging out. It just happens to be Christmas
I'm gonna
Eve
keep
that
it real.
night,
I just thought about this. Yeah, if my job wanted to have a party on Christmas Eve, nobody would show up. Like if there was I'm like, bro, what in the world? Like, I don't like y'all.
That's
like
family
this.
time.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't even show up to Christmas Eve
Bro,
service.
I don't want to show up to work, let alone this Christmas Eve party. Bro, I don't even want to come to work.
Well, look, look. If you've seen the movie, the Nagatashi Corporation had a lot of things going sideways. So, I mean, they were keeping $500 million in paper bonds in a vault. You know, they're not. You know, they got a lot more to worry about than, you know.
All right, what's y'all's number one Christmas movie? Like favorite all time? Home Alone 1 or 2?
One's a really good one.
Or Elf. It's either Home Alone or Elf. They go back and forth.
For me, it's Elf.
I'm a big Christmas Vacation.
That'd be my number 2. Yeah.
I'd say Santa Claus would probably be mine. I like the Santa Claus. I think that's like I could throw it in the background. I can always play it. Yeah, I always play it in the background.
Emily, where do you come in here?
Oh, I'm gonna stand firm with The Holiday.
What is that?
Good Christmas. I think it's the best. It's a Christmas rom-com. It's really good.
What's it called again?
It's like an early.
Is it the one where they house swap?
Yeah, it's Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, Jack Black, Jude Law.
Yeah, they house swap. That is good.
It's going viral right now.
It predicted Airbnb is what it did.
There's a scene in the movie where Jack Black, I guess the girl, spoiler alert, his girl cheats on him, right?
Bro,
is that what happens, Emily?
Last thing I want to hear about.
She's just a bad person.
Movie.
She's a bad person, right?
My wife cheated on girl cheated on me on Christmas, bro. Yeah. We not watching this.
It turns out okay.
No, it do not turn out okay. Like, we not watching this. I'm trying to laugh, eat some cookies and peppermints. I'm sorry, bro. We not doing this.
Let's keep Christmas movies where the height of drama is thwarting burglars, you know?
Yes. Yeah. The height of Christmas is putting a nail in someone's
child
foot,
almost committing murder. Yeah.
Yeah, he really could have committed murder with the fire. But Emily, there's a scene that's going viral right now where Jack Black, when he gets the news, he's playing the song that's in the background on the couch on his hand doing this. And everyone's like, I have seen this movie hundreds of times and I've never noticed that while she's delivering this message of like, I'm so sorry, I messed up. He's playing in one hand. His musical brain is playing the music for the song that's playing, but on the he's just doing this on the couch while listening to her. And everyone's like, no, like he's just such a musical guy, right. Jack Black.
Yeah, he is.
So people are laughing about that. I literally just saw that on TikTok.
An underrated one though, Marty, that you mentioned, and I literally watched it last night, is For Christmas.
It's really good.
Four Christmases. I was telling Cohen about it the other day.
When they do the church scene.
Oh, Derek, you'd love it.
It's if I had to rank Hollywood church scenes, it's easily
Four
top
Christmases?
5.
Yes.
Where
he
Vince
comes
Vaughn,
out to "We Will Rock You," like
he's
pointing at the crowd. It's
like
such a great movie.
This baby.
It seems that my wife has forgotten.
Give me this child. Unfit mother.
I'm gonna check this out.
Derek, you watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's great.
The Preacher's Wife is a good one too.
There's some good Christmas rom-coms out there. Not the Hallmark ones, but the like actually good Christmas rom-coms. We need to focus on those.
Give me a good one. All right, you said The Holiday where the dude girl cheat on him on Christmas. Can you give me one?
Yeah, a lot of them involve that.
That's happy.
Emily, what's the one with Liam Neeson with the different families that all connect in the movie?
Love Actually.
That's
Iconic.
A great Christmas movie.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good Christmas movie. It's a British Christmas movie, so take it as you will.
I was in my in-laws. They live in a lovely. It's a village outside of New York City, about an hour outside of the city. And I was there last week, and they had, I mean, it's so picturesque, this little town, from like originally built in the 1800s, a lot of these Victorian homes.
Wow. That
it was, there was recently a Lifetime Christmas movie shot there. And I was asking my father, I was like, how, he's like, it was cool to see the village in the film. I was like, well, how was the movie? So it's not very good. I was like, he's like, the plot was not good. I was like, well, what was the plot about? He's like, some guy comes back to his hometown after all these years of working in the city. I'm like, you literally just described every one of those. Yeah. And like,
every
there's
single
like,
Hallmark movie.
And they meet some like woman who like works at the inn that's right on the verge of shutting down, and or like
baker.
Or she moves. She's like the high profile publicist who goes back home and falls in love with like the handsome proprietor of like a Christmas tree lot on the edge of, like.
Did y'all see the Preacher's Wife?
Yeah, preacher's wife had me one, the angel to cheat on the husband, who's the preacher with Whitney Houston. So I don't know about that
Preacher's
one.
Wife is wild.
I wanted Denzel to end up with. I wanted her to be with Denzel. So I didn't really, no one wanted Robert Townsend to end with the wife.
Also, Friday After Next is a great.
That's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
Is it like how Die Hard's a Christmas movie, or is it
Let me watch that
Friday
as a
After
kid.
Next, because they're about to get kicked out their apartment and they have to throw a party to make money for it, and it's on Christmas. It's a Christmas party. Yeah, wow. Definitely. Friday After Next. The Santa steals the Christmas tree. That's how it opens up, with a crackhead Santa stealing the Christmas tree.
Was it a $200 Christmas tree?
So, I mean, look, what crackheads and Christmas trees, like, you can't look, if you need one relevant outside of the holiday where the girl cheat on her boyfriend, and
it is such a small part of
the four Christmas carols. If you need some hood in your life, Friday After Next is gonna be real fun. This is where what's his name? Money Mike, Cat Williams. This Cat big break right here. Mm-hmm.
I love them. My favorite thing is watching the girls from Mean Girls and like the celebrities in those Lifetime movies. People. Yeah, there's a couple people that are just winning every single Lifetime Christmas movie, recasted in like 4 or 5 during the season. I love it.
Rachel Lee Cook, she's having a strong Christmas season this year.
Who is that?
Strong. She went from Kiss Me to Christmas Me. I don't know. The girl from
she's killing it.
She's now doing. There's a lot of money in it. I was reading an article on Reddit years ago about it takes 2 weeks to make these movies. They all cost about $1.2 million. They pick the city that they're in. They all have the same plot, so they're really easy interchangeable. Like the one I just saw, Jessie was a violinist. She was a violinist about to quit, and the businessman came in. He was an ambassador for the United Nations.
Wait,
it's the same plot. It's the exact same plot.
Yeah, just interchangeable. Really ChatGPT has changed things.
Yeah. You can use Mad Libs.
I love being able to read the plot and knowing what happens.
Yeah. I know it's going to end right, but I
guarantee my wife has seen all the movies too. If she was on here, she would know about them.
All right, that'll do it for
Relevant Buzz.
Thanks, Emily. Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Hope this gave you another migraine. All of us talking.
Me too. A little bit.
Stay tuned. Up next, Christine Caine joins us. You're listening to Monet and Go. The song is Tarantula Queen. Well, our guest today is Christine Caine. She's a speaker, teacher, author, social justice leader, and a longtime friend of the show. As 2023 is coming to a close, we wanted to sit down with her to discuss how we can reflect on this past season of life with grace and how we can set our focus on the things that will lead us to a better future. Here's our conversation with Christine Caine.
Well, the year's coming to a close, and I think this is a time when people are reflecting on both the good and bad parts of the last 12 months. And it's really easy to get into a mindset of sort of regretting what we did or didn't do. And I'd love to know, what's a good way to both reflect and look forward on this season of life with grace for ourselves?
Yeah, I think that's important because sometimes the person we're the most hard on is ourselves. And you got to know that you've got to grow to where you want to go. I think in our very instant world, we just want to go to bed and get up and go, here I am, Wonder Woman for Jesus. And I'm like, honey, I'm 56. Emily, you and I before this podcast were talking, and you were saying, Chris, you've inspired me over the years, which I love. There's nothing more I love to hear from young women than that. But the fact is, I've been doing this for 35 years. It's like people are like, how did you get to where you are? I didn't quit. It's taken 35 years. How long does it take to get to where you are? 35 years. That's it. Like, and I think a lot of times that we don't understand it takes time to grow. My daughters, I didn't expect them to come out of my womb and start running. So I was not angry with them when they couldn't run, when they were, 1 month old. All they could do was poop a diaper, and, all they wanted me for was to drink milk, and then they just cried. That's it. But I loved them. I loved them for just, they could do nothing else. That's all they could do. And then I loved watching them grow. Now, the first time my daughter took, her first step and then fell flat on her face, I didn't go, "You're a loser. Why didn't you run? Why'd you fall?" I mean, you're laughing because that's how ridiculous it is. It's like, and yet we do that to ourselves. We go, we have a go, we stumble, and then we get up and go, "Man, you're a loser. You'll never amount to anything. And you go, hang on a minute. That was my first step." And so you've just got to give yourself grace enough. Be as kind to yourself as you would be with somebody else.
Yeah, I love that you are bringing up this spirit of resiliency, because I think that's really important for my generation, where I've seen a lot of people who are very action driven, but they end up burning out quickly. I'd love to know, how can we develop resiliency without burning ourselves out?
Well, I think it's important because a lot of the going, you've got to ask your motivation, out of whose strength am I going? So the fact is, Isaiah says, those that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They'll mount up on wings like eagles. We will run and not grow weary. We will walk and not faint. And so at 56, I've been saying that scripture over my life for a lot of years. Chris, wait upon the Lord. You'll mount up on wings like eagles. You'll run and not grow weary, and you'll walk and not faint. But that's because I know my strength comes from God. It doesn't come from me. And I think when you're trying to do it, it's not how much you do for God that burns you out. It's what you stop doing. That's what burns you out. So if you stop being in the Word, in community, praying, looking after yourself in terms of your spiritual disciplines, your own physical disciplines of healthy eating and exercise and enough rest and enough sleep. I mean, it's all the basics. But you watch normally when sort of, especially in this day of activism, it's like go. But I don't have the strength. My shoulders cannot bear the burden of this world. That needs to be on Jesus's shoulders, and he bore that burden at Calvary. So for me, I would be overwhelmed. We have, 19 A21 offices in 15 countries. Now, the amount we have at any one time, multiple hundreds of survivors in our care, from children to, adults. I've got hundreds of staff around the world. I could easily go tap out, burn out, and just go, this is too much, if I tried to do it in my own strength. But because I'm utterly dependent on God, and I don't feel like I need to be the savior, because the world's already got a savior, and that's Jesus, and he does a much better job than me, then I can pay attention to the things I need to pay attention to, which is my inner world, my spiritual life with Jesus, my physical strength. As I get older too, that becomes more important because I'm limited by my physical capacity. So, my strength there. And my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, again, it comes back to all the basic stuff. And that's not the cool stuff. That's not the Instagrammable stuff. That's not the stuff that looks awesome. We've got to be careful in our activism that we're not being active out of our own strength, or we are going to fail. We're just going to fall flat on our face. Our strength must come from God. I can't be a man pleaser. I have to be a God pleaser, and I have to do what God is leading me to do. And that means that I have to live with the fact that a lot of people are not going to be happy at any one time at all. You can't be living a life that I live and try to please everyone all the time. You're going to have a nervous breakdown. You've got to please God all of the time, and hopefully you please most of the people most of the time. And, I think it's some of those things of knowing where your strength's from, daring to step back, make sure that you're paying attention to your discipline, your spiritual practices, your inner world, I think a lot of times you've got to ask yourself, what's driving me? Is it really God, or is it my ego? Is it that I want the accolades? Is it that it looks really good on social media? Am I doing this because I really care for people, or do I want more followers? Do I want more, so I think the more you keep your motives in check, the more energy you've got to do what God's called you to do.
Going back to the end of year reflection too, I think it's easy to look on social media at this time of year and fall into a comparison trap. Thinking that we didn't do as much as someone else this year. What are some ways that we can make sure we're not slipping into comparison while scrolling through someone else's feed?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a constant fight for your generation, no matter what. There's no doubt about it, because like my daughters, they've never known a world without this. So, I always say, the Lord bless me, because I got saved before there was an internet. I got saved before there was social media. So I do have a BC, BSM before social media and ASM life. And so it means that, I'm able to think a bit differently about all of that. For your generation, that's not the reality. So you have to develop practices to make sure that you have an offline life. And so the online world will always be part of your world, part of your reality, because that's the world that we live in. But I have found that when you are busy and about the Father's business, you got a whole lot less time to be meddling in everyone else's business. And I find the times I'm least on social media is when I am most invested in doing the work that God has given me to do with the people right before me.
I love that you're bringing community into this, because that is such a big thing for my generation. You can have thousands of followers, but that's not your community, even if we may think it is. I'd love to hear, what are some qualities we should be looking for in our friends and the community that surrounds us?
We've got to be open to the fact that friendships have seasons, and, someone that may have been great in one season may not be a friend to resiliency in your next season. And friends, I think one really important virtue and value in a friend is someone that has the capacity to grow and to allow you to grow, and to keep becoming the person that God has created you to become. I think people that want to keep you stuck in a previous season, and like the you that that I want you back there, they're not going to help you develop resiliency, because they might help you develop codependency, but not resiliency. And I think a friend is just, no one's perfect. All of us make mistakes. All of us mess up. But I think it's someone that's willing to stand with you, to encourage you. They've got to be committed to their own journey with Jesus as well. You know what I mean? So when they're committed, and we're talking in the context of resiliency, we have lots of friends that may or may not even be believers, but they may have a different place in our life. But the ones that are helping us to develop a strong faith muscle, to help us get through adversity, and not just barely get by, but to be who God's called us to be, and then to thrive on the other side of it. Well, the only people that can really do that are people that have walked with Jesus, and people that are walking with Jesus, and are going to help encourage you from the word. And, they're going to come and they're going to sit with you when you're suffering and when you're struggling and when you've been disappointed, but they're going to love you too much to leave you there forever. There's going to come a time where that friend's going to be, okay, it's time to pick up your mat and walk. It's time to start walking, and I'm going to take you by the hand, and we're going to do this together, but we're going to move on. So you need, faithful, loyal, integrous. Again, I'm going to say not perfect, because none of us are. If you're looking for the perfect friend, you're never going to find one. But if you're looking for good, faithful, steadfast, true, honest, integrous. And I would say the primary thing is that they are committed to growing up in Christ themselves, because that is the person that's going to help you get up and keep moving towards Jesus.
That was Christine Caine. Stay tuned. Up next, your feedback.
Get the following to pick up. Welcome to the land where we really get to see what the man and the liver really made of. 40 days, 40 nights, walk through the valley of death. I test my spirit, he guide my steps. 40 ways, 40 fights, renegade by my side. Harvest is Plenty but many will slide on the rise. Yeah, many fell back in their ways and forgot the basic principles in the face of their father. Road to the wicked who hard in their heart, but they self in that place, forgot to put their guard up. Loving what leading their
You're listening to Stephen Malcolm. The song is 40. Okay, it's time for your feedback. I have little recollection of how we got to this question of the week. Jesse, maybe you can help me. But if the question that we asked you guys was, if you could create a crossover episode between any two TV shows, what shows would you choose and what would the plot be? Do you remember why we asked that?
Seems like an eternity ago. It
does. It was pre-Thanksgiving. It was a while ago. Well, anyway, it's a good question. You guys hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast and also replied in our stories on Instagram and other places as well. Here's a few of our favorites.
I like Ben Stroop's suggestion of a Nathan for You undercover CEO or undercover boss, where it's basically they just let Nathan Fielder come in and run companies. I would watch that show.
You love his awkward humor.
Oh, he's one of America's finest treasures, in my opinion.
Makes me so uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Like when he was doing that show where he would give business advice to people.
Yeah, that was Nathan for You.
Nathan for You. Yeah, I couldn't handle that one.
What about the?
I did like his last one where he did the fake house and stuff.
The rehearsal.
I did enjoy
the rehearsal was great.
Yeah, the rehearsal. Yeah, I like that one.
Jason says, not TV, but I want a Fast and Furious Jurassic Park crossover. There's no description.
Relax.
He didn't give a plot because there is no plot.
We don't need it. We don't need a plot. It's sold.
How do car races beat dinosaurs, though?
It doesn't matter.
Well, they'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They shot Ludacris into outer space by wrapping his car in tinfoil. Anything's possible.
Right.
They car raced a nuclear sub. Yeah.
I do love this one. The original Fresh Prince and It's Always Sunny. Charlie ends up breaking the fight up that got Will sent to LA. That would be funny crazy. If that would be pretty smart. That would be very Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That would be not very Fresh Prince, but very It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
So in this scenario, because Charlie broke the fight up, Will doesn't need to leave. So Will stays in Philly.
Yeah. And I guess he joins the gang at Patty's after
That's
that.
crazy.
Oh, I guess. Man, that was oddly specific, Jesse. Is that the name of the place?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Patty's Pub. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of one because some of these are a little too extreme. They're not in the same. To me, they're not in the same universe, right? Like in the Office universe.
Yeah, someone said the Office and the Wire.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Like that's. I would say Office universe, and you connect to 30 Rock, and you connect to Parks and Recs, or
right.
Like how do we connect those two somehow?
There's one that's Doctor Who and The Chosen, which I've never seen Doctor Who, but I know the premise is the Doctor goes back in time, in
a phone booth or something, right?
But isn't that the plot of like both Superbook and Adventures in Odyssey, where they have some means of time travel and go back to the Bible? Isn't that literally what those shows are? Yeah,
I used to watch that with the kids all the time. That was a go-to.
Does it hold up?
No, sir.
I saw it like in the
90s. No, sir.
I would mix The Chosen, and I would try to mix something in that universe that would make sense. Maybe let's go to what's that one? Game of Thrones. Let's try to do a crossover
you're saying throw some dragons in The Chosen.
Yes, throw some dragons in that boy. You know what I'm saying? Let Jesus deal with a couple of those. Let's see how he handles it.
Just see what would happen.
See how he handles it.
See what would happen.
300 in Game of Thrones would be crazy though.
There you go. That's better. It's closer.
Jesus slaying a dragon.
I want to see Jesus knock out a dragon, but
I mean, we know he slays the dragon, but I don't want to see him slay an actual dragon and the Ice King and all that.
All right. That'll do it for last week's feedback. It's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
All right. Well, earlier we were talking about our favorite Christmas movies. For this week's question, we want to know your favorite Christmas movie, but we want a one-sentence defense of why it's the best to you. Just convince us in one sentence why it's the best. Hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast or wherever you see us post that question. We'll read our favorites on next week's show. Well, before we wrap things up, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, just in passing, but it's our annual tradition, a very relevant Christmas. Our Spotify playlist is out now. We have a curated playlist of our favorite tracks, some great bands, great artists, cool. It's a unique mix. It is an extensive mix. You will not get bored listening to this playlist. It is like 350 songs. And how do you have a curated list of 350 songs? Trust me, it's curated. There's just a lot of good music out there. So go check it out. It's called A Very Relevant Christmas. It's available on Spotify for free. Search it up. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
It's Marty.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
I'm not buying parking lot trees.
Relevant Podcast Network.